music variety on Power Ace Radio.
Okay.
Okay, so hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you so much for asking. Welcome to Power Ace Radio. This is PAR Meet the Artist, short for Power Ace Radio Meet the Artist. Because some people get confused. So my name is Pali. I'll be the host of the show. If I can get you to introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, and obviously, yeah, tell us what you do, please.
Yeah, for sure. Hi, my name is Ioanna. I'm an artist from Toronto. I'm half Greek, half Lebanese, and as well as being a recording artist out here, I'm also a creative director, engineer, and actress. So I do a lot of stuff in the creative industry.
Super, that's great. I'm sorry, where are you from again?
I'm from Toronto, Canada, but my background is I'm half Greek, half Lebanese.
Super, that's perfect. Of course, he kind of listened to my first question. I thought, okay, you know what, I need to just go straight for it. And it's talking about this track that you released. There's a track called Tempted to Touch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that track, so when I first heard it, I thought, oh, this person must be either from Africa or the West Indian. And then I'm listening to it, I'm thinking, wow, this is really interesting. I could find out who really sang this. And there you come up, Ioanna. So please tell us about this song because it has a completely different vibe. It's very Afro, great lyrics in there. Tell us about it, and then I will give you my review afterwards.
Yeah, for sure. So, Tempted to Touch was my second release. I started releasing music in June of 2021. And I was really lucky. I got to work with an amazing artist in Toronto. His name's Rem Riddles. So he really liked the song, wanted to jump on it. And I just really like fusing sounds just because I feel like I'm a fusion as a person. Like I have such distinct backgrounds and it's really fun to bring them together. So I like to do the same thing in music. Yeah, I also collaborated with another artist who's Punjabi. So the track is half English, half Punjabi. And Tempted was the same sort of similar vibes. I like dancing. I like going out. I like music to have fun. So yeah, that was what the track was about. And obviously it's like an amazing sample. So it was really easy to catch a vibe.
Absolutely, it really is. I had fun listening to it. I had to listen to it again. Just around the room a little bit. I DJ, so I had to bring it back with the original "Tempted to Touch" and just see where I was very curious about that whole track. So no, great performance, great lyrics on that track. I give you a tick tick tick. So if anybody hasn't heard it, definitely be sure to go and hear that Tempted to Touch. On Spotify, it has like over almost 300,000 views. That like listeners, that's immense. So that shows the quality of the track, So and moving on from that one, let's go into the next track. As they call it, the elephant in the room. So that is called Rewind.
Yes, Rewind is a brand new track. It came out last Friday. I'm very lucky. Shout out Apple Music. They put it on 4 playlists. So that was really exciting. This track was just more so about, like 2023. It's my first release. I really wanted it to be fun, happy. You live these good moments in life. It's like you wish you could relive them again because they feel so good. So it's kind of my outlook for 2023. Yeah, pop radio track. Like I said, I like to mix genres and I like to do a little bit of everything. So pop, R&B, English, Arabic. We're gonna get into Greek. But yeah, I'm a little bit everywhere.
No, that's beautiful. Because for us, our slogan is unity through music, and the perfect unifier is when the language, so when that language barrier is not actually in the way, when you're speaking to people in the language they understand, even if it's a little bit of it, they kind of get the general idea of what the song is about. And that's really, really cool. But to me, listening to that song, it's more, oh, okay, it's like a female version telling me what I want to hear. If when you're sending a text message and you want to press send, like it is really the way you bring together those lyrics. Yeah, it fits on the beat, but the lyrics itself is perfect. So, what's your inspiration? Let's take rewind. What's the inspiration behind that? Is it a personal thing? Is it just you just woke up, or something you're writing about a friend? Well, what is the inspiration behind that
So
lyrics?
I like to freestyle in the studio now. I like to come in, see how I'm feeling, and then depending on the beat, we'll see what story we're going to tell. A lot of the time it does come from personal experience, but it doesn't have to be the first person. It can always be like the third person. So if I know someone who's going through something, like I can kind of story tell about that. But most of my songs are very personal. A lot of the stuff I'm going to be releasing this year is even more vulnerable than I have been. Like I said, I like music because it's so universal, because even if you don't know the words by the language, you can feel them sometimes. So that for me is really important. And I know a lot of people listen to music as a therapy, or like to feel the same as how they're feeling. I kind of like music for the opposite. I like it to bring me out of what I'm feeling. So if I'm not having a great day, I'm going to put on a really good song. Like I'm going to put on a really great song to feel really good, instead
Mm,
of like staying in that place.
mm. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a really good way of thinking about it. I don't think I've even actually ever, yeah, okay, I will listen to music to feel good or to feel even better.
Yeah.
But
You should
yeah,
try it. If you're ever having a day, this is what I always say to people. If you're ever having a day where you're like, oh, I'm just having like a rough day, I'm not feeling great, I'm sad, whatever, put on your favorite song, put on a song that makes you just feel good, like makes you forget about everything for a little bit. It really helps. But I think we kind of like sit in it. So if you ever like sad, you listen to sad songs, it makes you feel so much worse. You're just like, oh my God, I can't do this. So
mm,
that's why I love music too, because it's, yeah, you can focus on how you're feeling, or you can take yourself out of how you're feeling.
no, absolutely. That is really great. I'm gonna try and incorporate that in some way. So let's um let's move away from this and go into the next bit. So 2001, that's when you decided, okay, I'm gonna go for it.
2021.
Yeah, what happened? Why 2001? Why not before, and why not after?
Oh. So, COVID hit everybody pretty hard. And I had always been doing acting and music in school, and I went through a really hard period of time where I just stopped doing it, and I was miserable. I wasn't happy. I just wasn't like fulfilled. Um, Creating brings me such joy that I really don't care what anyone else thinks. Of course, I hope people like it, but at the same time, it's so important for me to do it. And I just realized during COVID, I'm doing myself just such a disservice by not sharing with everyone that, hey, I love this. This is what I do. If you like it, I'd also like to share it with you. And I've been very lucky. The response has been great. So it's almost a little heartbreaking to think like I held back for so many years. But at the same time, I believe things happen for a reason. So whatever the reason is, I'm here now, and I'm really excited that I finally stepped into myself.
That's great. That's a great answer. And I'm glad you've gone past that dwelling about, oh, I should have done this earlier. But as you said, the time just has to be right. You can't force things. Things are just a lot of the time we try, oh, I want this or I want that to happen and I want it to happen now. It should have happened before. But
Yeah.
if you wait, then you might not have it. Sometimes you just have to wait for time to sort itself out. For me, I always have my motto. It goes, do your best and leave the rest. You know, so that is it. So let's go into obviously my next question. As to so let's say this you've released quite a few. So this is your second or third single now. Rewind.
Rewind is maybe like my 11th single now.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Tempted was my early era. That's when I first came out, and I know I've released quite a bit in the last 2 years, but yeah, Rewind is one of one of this year.
Oh, okay, good. Because the question really was that, so since you began music all the way through, through your journey, do you think actually you as a person, do you think you've developed, and what exactly, or maybe there's some things that you carried along with you? How do you think this whole music experience has changed you, or yeah, what have you carried with you?
Oh, that's a great question. So I've learned a lot from the artists that I get to be around because I do work at a studio. So I get to be a part of other projects and other artists and their stories. And it's a really vulnerable experience for them too, to invite other people to bring their projects to life. So I'm always super sensitive and grateful. For myself, I still feel very vulnerable during the creation process, that I like to do it alone. I like to do it by myself until it's done. And then I feel like as I'm growing as an artist, I'm getting more comfortable sharing my experiences and being a little bit more vulnerable. It's just taking me a little bit of time to get there because I know it comes with the territory. As artists, we all have something to say and a story to tell. And I think it helps your audience relate to you, and the kind of music that you release kind of builds your fan base organically, that, hey, I really relate to what she's saying, or I've been through that. I know what she's going through. So that's been difficult, but I'm learning it's a part of growing as a person, and I always have control in what I share. I think as a vocalist, I'm being pushed a little bit more to explore my range and share a little bit more. So transitioning from being trained to sing in a musical is very different in a theater setting versus recording in a studio and producing pop music. So bridging the two and like moving and growing is new to me.
That's exciting. And I think kind of take off from where you stop, because so I interviewed an artist over time who is actually an actor, and we're talking about acting compared to music. So maybe if I go through that same line of question, because you'll be really interested. So when you're going on stage, you perform, you're both. So when you're going on stage, how do you overcome, I call it the demons, those ones that see your head and they're like, are you sure about this? Oh my God, imagine this, imagine that. How do you overcome that before you go on stage?
Honestly, it's almost like rehearsal. During rehearsal, you're very focused on, okay, I'm going to sing like this. I'm going to block over here. I'm going to storytell over here. But once you're in the moment, all of that kind of like washes away. And for me, as long as I'm very present and I'm really giving myself to my audience, I don't feel that stress and anxiety anymore. I really start to appreciate the joy that, you know what, this is what I do. This is not even like, as much as it's serving me, I'm also here for other people who really like want to feel something, want to feel entertained, feel connection, have fun. One of my last shows I did last year, it was just such a great experience because it was my first time as like a pop artist coming out, not just like playing a character on stage, which is kind of scary because you're being yourself. So you can't hide behind a character or, a show and things like that, or have a script. You don't have a script. But it's kind of like life. You just kind of go with it. You're on stage and it's like, that's it. Do what you can, get comfortable, laugh if you make a mistake, you know, connect with your audience and who's watching. But I really love it. I enjoy it. It's a little nerve-wracking, but now instead of it being anxiety, it's like excitement. Yeah.
That's great. I like that. And you know, just moving on from there, as to so who are your inspirations? So you come up with all these great tracks. Well, you know, you come up with Tempted to Touch, so I can definitely probably name one of the artists you listen to.
For sure.
And listening to the other tracks, there's one that sounded very, I thought it was Moroccan really when I was hearing a bit about it. And then there's a bit about Habibi, and I'm like, oh, I know that word, Habibi.
Yeah.
So who are your inspirations coming up with all these great songs? What sort of artists do you listen to?
One of my favorite artists of all time that like I grew up listening to in the house. She's an Arabic singer. Her name's Nancy Ajram. And I don't speak Arabic fluently, but man, her music was like so inspirational throughout my childhood and growing up. And I did Greek folk dancing, so a lot of the traditional Greek singers. I really love female artists in their own lane. So J-Lo, Beyonce, Miley Cyrus, killing it right now. A lot of the newer artists like Lolo Zouai, Sabrina Claudio. I just like women who are super in their own lane, and it's very empowering to know that, you know, you can storytell however you want to storytell. And there's so many amazing artists, even artists that are like my peers. So Natalie Rain from Toronto, Coca just there's so many. I just really like try to bring inspiration from a little bit of everybody to myself. And like to think like Rihanna did the Super Bowl and she did such a good job. Like, yeah, my inspirations come from a little bit of everywhere.
Oh, that is really great because you can definitely feel it from your music. And I suppose that is kind of like the setup to the next question, really. That maybe out of all these artists, or maybe some that you haven't even named, dead or alive, if you could perform with any artist at all, so do just one show, who would it be and why?
Oh man. Oh, someone I've always admired for their like career and work ethic. Man, if I could do a show with Jennifer Lopez, whew, that woman is amazing. And just, I grew up watching her like just get through every barrier and like really be a part of that story. And because she also did acting and dancing, I really connect with her on that level. And it like things didn't come easy. Like she worked really hard, and I can really relate to that. So yeah, if I could do that with J-Lo one day, I'm doing good.
That's great. That's a really great answer. That's you know, she's an amazing artist. You know, movies, singing, performing. She does it all. Yeah, that's a great answer. And you know, I suppose if maybe I should ask you that question, really, right? I mean, asking, or maybe you've answered it. So, who would you compare yourself, your style, and you know, you to in the music industry right now?
That's a good question. Who would I compare myself to? I don't know. And genuinely, the only reason I don't know is I don't know who I emulate or sound like, because I think I do a lot of things very differently. Like I'll have an Afro pop track come out, and then the next day I'll have a Punjabi song, and then we'll do R&B, and we'll do pop. So I'm not too sure, only because I also like creating from my individuality. So who do you think I sound like, or who could you compare me to? This is a good question.
Well, nobody's ever turned it around like that before. But to be honest, I would have actually gone with J though. But,
No.
you know, that would have been what I would have gone with. Like, okay, with to see here your projection, how it's going. Um,
What a
You know,
compliment. So much.
that would be my answer. Personally, nobody's ever thrown the question back at me like that before. Well done. Well, okay, so before we get past all of this, because it's very crucial, you make all these great tracks, right?
Mhm.
Where can people go and find you? Where they go to places, maybe not just even for releases, maybe you're just messing around in the studio. You can see you're in the studio, so obviously you're about to do something and maybe you decide to record it. Where can we make sure we don't miss anything at all? What the handles?
So I'm gonna start doing TikToks a little bit more so people get to see like the process of my day, go on live a little bit more, connect that way. But you can find me on Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, YouTube. A lot of my music videos that you see, I co-directed and produced, so I'm always very involved. Um, I did a little bit of acting for DJ Khaled and Drake and Lil Baby for their music video that came out. So I'm always involved, like I said, creatively in all aspects. My Instagram, you can find me at Ioanna Music. It's spelled Ioanna. And yeah, you can message me in my DMs. I try to get back to everybody. I try to answer everything, and streaming my music, if you're ever sharing it, posting it. If you tag me, I'll definitely repost it. And that's where you can find me.
Super. That's great. So Ioanna Music. That's Ioanna.
IOA.
ANNA.
Yeah.
Yeah. Music. Got you. Okay. Because we cannot cover that bit.
Yeah.
So let's
Fine.
now. Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So I was just going to say, when we're not doing music, and when you're not, listening to it, how do you relax? What's your chill out time? Things to do.
I love my coffee. I cannot lie. I love my coffee. I like to read. I love a good face mask. My dog's at home with my parents, hanging out with my family, my friends, eating good food. I like to smoke shisha. Just, yeah, really like being present with the people I love is my favorite thing.
It's really good. This is it. Doesn't have to be elaborate. It's those simple pleasures of life, as they say. So
Yeah.
yeah, great answer. And I like to ask that to artists because I think a lot of the time we normal folks always just think, yeah, these guys are God. This is all they do. They don't even have time to do anything else. Oh, everybody need that to break away just to recharge and refocus. So yeah, thank you for that answer.
Of course, you do your best work when you're inspired by real life. So taking time for your real life and, making sure you make those moments with the people you love is so important. There's nothing more important than that.
Absolutely. No, I like that. Great answer. And let's go back to the deep end of music. Okay, so you've been doing this for a little while now, before actually you start releasing. So you've been in acting, you've been dealing with different people, different agents, I'm sure a lot of people will come and go, oh, yeah, let's do this, let's do that, let's do that, let's do that. How do you sift through that and go, no, I don't want to do that, yes, I will do that? Or do you just take whatever comes your way and think, yeah, I will,
That's a good question. I think as you grow, like I've had a lot of experience where in the beginning I was taking anything and everything that I could. And then I was learning, okay, I can start saying no to some things because I want to focus on, deeper meaning projects or projects where you want to get paid or projects now that you have the skill set, whereas before you didn't, you need the experience. And I think that comes with time. The best thing I did for myself was not wait for anybody to put me on. I didn't wait for somebody to come and say, hey, you're a star. I'm going to make you this. We can do this, this, this. If you don't want it for yourself and you're not going to work for it, it'll never happen. So I'm really blessed that My team is so important to me. Shout out to Abstract. I learned so much being here. I wouldn't be where I am without them, but your tribe will find you. When you are working and hustling at a level, the right people will come in. So it works itself out, because I've also dealt with the not so great people who promise you everything and then nothing happens. So just being careful of those people, because you'll start to sift through them.
No, that's great. So, because we know how it is, and even for us, everything comes in. Well, I suppose even more for us, because now the problem, which is probably also a good thing, is that everybody can be wherever, and if you have what it takes, you can put yourself out there.
Right.
Where, as you said, you didn't wait for anybody for, yeah, I'm good enough and I'm gonna put myself out there, record my stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that if you have belief in yourself. But also not everything is for everybody. So we go through a whole lot of music. We might go through, I don't know, 100 tracks, and we might just pick 10. Sometimes you might just be free. It's what it is,
Yeah.
But it's great to know, okay, it's not just us. It's everybody goes through the same thing.
Everybody goes through it. And think of like your favorite, most successful people at the top of the top. They've been rejected so many times. In the beginning, nobody believed their vision, but because they believed it, it doesn't matter how many times they heard a no. If you can't hear a no more than 100 times, how do you know the next one's going to be a yes if you don't try? So you have to be, we're human. Like, it sucks to hear no's and feel rejected and feel like you didn't do a good job. But if you don't keep growing and failing forward, you're never going to know. You'll never know.
Yeah, that's great. That's really great one. And as we're kind of wrapping up, I thought, you know what, I might as well just see where it is, where we're getting at. So out of all these tracks you've released, collaborations and the personal ones, which one would you say is your favorite and why?
My favorite, for the only reason why it's my favorite, is because I was going through a really hard time when this song came out. And the entire project from beginning to end, I love the lyricism. I love the positivity of the song, the choreography, and the people I worked with on the music video and how it all came together. My favorite, one of my favorites, because it's hard, they're all like children, but I will give you an answer. Did to Me. Did to Me was my third single that came out. It was my first single solo by myself, no features. And I'm really proud of the music video. So I'll say for now, one of my special songs for myself.
To me, perfect. So I like to ask that question even for myself personally. So as soon as we finish this, definitely go and listen to that, and then oh yeah, I see. So and that's a kind of wrap up. Usually I actually will throw this as one question, but this time I think I'm going to break it down quickly. If you could, so to your fans, the ones that are already your fans, that they know you already, they listen to your music, what would you like to say to them?
I love them. I'm so grateful. Anybody who's been like supportive or been listening from the beginning, you have no idea how much it really does, it means to me. I really appreciate it, because it's not an easy industry. Without fans, you're not really doing much. So I'm very lucky to be where I am, and it's people who listen and message me, and whatever it is that like you listen to my music for, thank you, because there's different reasons. So yeah, thank you.
That's great. Great. Well, and the second part to the question is, to the people that are just discovering you through Power Ace Radio or through the other avenues, extensions of this Unity Fruit Music, as we say, what would you like to say to them?
Nice meeting you. Thanks for watching us. If you're curious or you want to check me out, feel free. you can find me everywhere on social media, on my website, Spotify, Apple, and yeah, don't be shy. Like I said, I try to answer everything. And thank you. Thanks for hanging out.
Super. That's great. Thank you so much. And yeah, as they say, time does fly when you're having fun. Getting to the end of the show, I would just like to say thank you so much, for coming on the show out of your busy time. You're in the studio, you probably want to be rehearsing, but you're like, okay, let's go and listen to what Power Ace Radio have to say. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're most welcome. So yeah, until we meet again, it's been a pleasure. Take care. Bye.
This is Power Ace Radio.